Welcome to IAS Net Study. And as I told you that in the last video, we are starting an ethics series. The first video we talked about basic concepts, and here in this video, we are taking up the further topics which are mentioned in the syllabus. So the first topic here is essence of ethics. Essence, you can say it as a features or characteristics of ethics. Let's see the essence of ethics. What exactly ethics talks about? Ethics tells you what is good, what is bad. Ethics tells you what is right and what is wrong. Ethics tells you what is positive and what is negative. So ultimately, it gives a definition of good and bad, and this is going to guide your decisions. This is going to guide your actions. Ultimately, ethics guides human behavior. Ethics guides your actions. So this is the basic feature of ethics. And see, once you understand what is right and wrong, what is good and bad, then you do the good, you have to do the correct option, you have to do the good option, you have to do the right option regardless of its consequences. You are not worried about the consequences. Ultimately, you are selecting a task, you are making a decision based on this is right, based on this is good, right? And the next is, see, I told you that ethics, morals are internal for an individual person, and ethics is for a social scenario. It means that whether it is for a society or for a community or for an organization, it means that there are more than one person. Here, the group of people are there. Now, ethics, the another essence of ethics is that it cannot be shaped, it cannot be sustained in isolation. If it is, if you see this in an isolation, then that becomes values. So ethics is combination from a social, either you see it from a social scenario, or you see it from organizational perspective, or you see it from a community perspective. So on the whole, if ethics has to be shaped, if ethics has to be sustained, then it has, there should not be any isolation. So this is the another essence of ethics. Now the next aspect is that, see, I am a part of this society. So I am, it means that man, I am a part of this society. Especially I born and brought up in an Indian society. So Indian cultural values, Indian customs, ritual practices, social norms, everything has inspired me. So I am inspired by ethics. So I am inspired by ethical standards of Indian society. See, this is one feature. Another feature is, in a similar way, the ethical features of a country or a society or an organization is also shaped by man. So man is shaped by ethics. In a similar way, ethics is also shaped by a man. I'll give you an example. I told you that my example is that my features, my various morals, values, everything is shaped by Indian society. In a similar way, take an example of Sati, where there are few individuals like Rajaram Mohan Rai. These individuals, they have raised the voice, and ultimately other people, they have also supported this initiative, and eventually this led to the passage of law to make it as illegal. And at this point of time, sati is illegal, sati is unethical. So here what I'm trying to say is, me individual, I am, my morals are shaped by society. At the same time, if I have a very strong values, if I am very strong attitude, then I can also shape the ethical norms of a society. So here, ethics shapes individual. At the same time, a strong individual can also shape ethics. So this is, there is a mutual acceptance is there. So man is not only shaped by ethics but also shapes ethics. There's another ethics. And the next is, see, ethics, it depends on context, the context which they are operating. Because I told you that ethics is a social norms, and there should be a social acceptance to it. As an example, here it has been mentioned, is it's an activity of gift giving. Let's see it from a two perspective. One perspective from a US corporate house, another perspective from a Japan corporate house companies. In Japan, it is giving a gift, it is considered as an act of respect and it is considered ethical. But whereas in USA and even for India, it is unethical, and there is a risk of corruption, there is a risk of bribe. So there is an indirect bribe risk, corruption is linked to it. So the same activity is same in both the countries, but if you look at the way you look at into it, the context changes. One country it becomes good, for another country it becomes bad. So here the context matter a lot. This is another essence of ethics. And see, if ethics has to be maintained, ethics, it's a more than one person, it's a group of people, community, organization, standard norms for these people, whether it is community, organization. Now it, I am a part of this community and I should have sense of responsibility. If everybody, individuals in a community start saying that I don't care what these morals are, I'm not going to follow, then ethics is not going to be sustained in that society. You cannot maintain that society. So in order to maintain these moral standards, in order to maintain these ethical standards in a society or in a set of group, then there should be a sense of responsibility among the people, among the community, among the society. Then only ethics can be maintained there and it can be sustained, or else the moral standards, ethical considerations are going to fall down. And this is the another essence. And finally, there are two aspects: there is an ethics and there is law. I'll explain this point from a perspective of through an example. Law, take an example of child labor. See, if a child has been employed, any child below 16 year is employed. I'm giving you an example. If a child is employed, then case can be filed against you and you can be prosecuted. So there is a fear. So because of that, you are not going to employ a child in your house or in your factory or some commercial setup. Now this is law. But when you think of ethics, the same thing, the child labor, you are not going to support the child labor, but here the reason is different. See, before the reason is punishment, but now if you are a ethical person, then the reason is that you understand that this, for children, there is an age of learning and it's not an age of earning, and their talent has to be utilized properly because they are the future of this country. If they are devoid of education and if they are pushed into earning a livelihood, earning money, then this is going to have a detrimental effect for a country in a longer run. So from an ethical perspective, from a value perspective, if I have to make a decision, I am not going to support child labor. In turn, I am going to support the child education. So law, it is a very restrictive approach. Restrictive approach is that I am not going to support the child labor because I can be prosecuted, I can be punished under law. But if I am ethical, I am not going to support the child labor because there is a value system. I don't want to take that future of child away from it by giving this employment to the child. So here ethical law, it is narrow understanding is there, but when you think of ethics, it transcends the narrow stipulation. Law has a narrow understanding, ethics is a broader understanding. This is another essence of ethics. I think there are 6 or 7 points. These are sufficient with respect to essence of ethics. Let's move to the next topic. The next topic is determinants of ethics. Determinants of ethics, it means that ethics, you know that it tells you what is good and what is bad, right? Now, who is going to determine that? What are the factors that are going to determine what is good and what is bad? That is what this topic is going to deal with it. Ultimately, this topic talks about criteria of judgment. If I am telling a certain action as a good action, I'm labeling certain action as a bad actions, then there should be a criteria, and that criteria of judgment and what exactly the factors are determining this is good and bad, that is going to be discussed in this particular section. So here we are going to see the criteria of judgment, and predominantly there are three criteria. One is person, place, and then time. These are predominant criteria. Apart from these three, there are others also, but these three are the major criteria to determine what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. So these are the predominant determinants of ethics. Other determinants are also there, other factors are also there. We are going to talk about that also, but at this point of time, let's talk about it. So determination of what is right and what is wrong behavior, it is not an easy task. So you need to, there should be an objectivity, there should be a rationality to understand it. So let's take an example of abortion, example of homosexuality. See, abortion in certain countries, it is, there is no, we are not supposed to go for an abortion because they talk about right of fetus. But in certain country, yes, abortion is available. The women, she has a freedom on her body, she can take a decision. But in certain country, there are restrictions. in India, maybe around 24 or 26 weeks, you're not supposed to go for abortion. Sorry, you are allowed to have an abortion, but after that you're not supposed to go for an abortion. So activity is same, it is an act of abortion. For one country it's illegal, it's unethical. For another country it is legal and ethical. In some other countries there are certain restrictions. So here what we are seeing is it changes from scenario to scenario. Now here, how do we determine these ethics? It is determined by place, it is determined by person, it is determined by time. Again, the same homosexuality also, for some countries it is completely bad, and some countries even it is punishable offense. In some countries even you can have a family also. Here also it is the same thing. These activities are judged differently in different countries, so there is a global variance factor, it is here. So now let's see in detail what are the determinants of ethics. The first, as I told you, person. See, person, I have certain attitudes, I have internalized certain personal attitudes and values, and I make decisions and I decide what is right and what is wrong based on my internal personal attitude and based on my values. See, if I am honest, if I have the value of honesty, then if there are any financial irregularities, then I am going to make sure that this is raised at a certain point of time. If I don't have this value of honesty, if I am dishonest, if I am corrupt, then I am going to let go these misconduct in an organization, whether it is public administration or in a public setup, sorry, private setup. So this is what happens here. What is the determining factor here? I am the determining factor. Values in me are the determining factor. The personal attitudes are determining factor. So person is the first determining factors of ethics, and the next is place. See, place, it is a combination of so many things. It can be a culture, it can be a combination influence of organization, there is an influence of family, school, religion, all, sorry, all these things come into a picture. Let's talk about the example of work ethics. Let's see the work ethics of Western countries, especially European countries and North American countries, and let's see the work culture of India, South Asian countries, and let's see the work culture of African countries. It changes. Very predominant, noticeable changes are there. How is it? Why do we see this, and how is that possible? It is because the determining factors are different for all these countries. In the same way, even for ethics, also determining factors are different for different places. And places, it means that all these cumulative factors, culture, rituals, organization, even for that matter, religion, education system, economy, everything comes into the picture when you talk about place. So place, it is cumulatively representing all these aspects, right? And then comes third important predominant aspect of determinant of ethics, it is time. See, I will explain it through an example. Take an act of sati or a civil rights movement. Civil rights movement, see, there there was a severe discrimination between blacks and the whites, especially in the North American countries, in the USA. It is the same location now. Few years ago, situation was different. Discrimination was legal. Discrimination was accepted as a social norm. Now it is not that. Now it is unethical, illegal. And even in India, sati was practiced 200 years ago. Even though it was not widely practiced, it was practiced at certain pockets. So it was practiced. So sati was considered as ethical. Sati was, even there was a social acceptance, there was a legal acceptance also. Now the same activity of sati, it is unethical, it is illegal. So activities are similar. Discrimination was done in USA a few years ago, maybe 300, 400 years ago. Now it is not being practiced. In the same way, the act of sati was accepted. There was a social norm, social support. Now it is unethical, illegal. So place is same, people, it is just a evolution of same civilization, but the activity becomes ethical now, unethical then, or unethical then ethical now, because of the factor time. So first it is person, second it is place, third it is time. These three are predominant determinants of ethics, right? Now apart from that also there are some other factors that determine ethics. Ethics, what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. Let's see the other factors. Religion. Religion, see, if I am a follower of certain religion, and my religion teaches me few attributes. My religion teaches me few value system, and I inculcate these value system. I adopt these value system in my conduct. Not only me, the entire locality or the particular geographical location, people follow that. As an example, if I am a follower of a Hindu religion, now my religion talks about harmony. My religion talks about tolerance. My religion talks about acceptance. So this is what these values are inculcated in me because I am a follower of this religion. In a similar way, if you talk about Islam, it is the brotherhood, the sense of brotherhood. In a similar way, Christianity, it's a forgiveness, the aspect of forgiveness. And if you take a Sikhism, it is then the attitude of serving, the service to the humanity. So these values are inculcated knowingly or unknowingly because the religion I follow, because the customs I practice, because of the rituals I follow. So religion is also another determinants of ethics. And then comes leadership. Leadership is also one of the very predominant aspect here. Take an example of freedom movement. We had a Gandhi. He is also, he was also very influential freedom fighter at that point of time. And we had a Subhash Chandra Bose. Both of them, they were patriotic and they were fighting for India's freedom. But the methodology was different. His value system was different. His value system was different, and even the followers, the Gandhian followers, their value system was different, and even the Bose followers value system was also different. So what I'm trying to say is even leadership also matters. Even at this present times, if a country is ruled by a right-wing leader, the value system becomes different. It's a country is ruled by a left-wing leader, the value system will be different. So leadership also matters a lot. Then comes economic situation, whether it is a capitalist country, whether it is a communist country. See, if it's a capitalist country, then usually the competition or the talent, all these things are going to be celebrated. If it's a communist country, communist economy, then the social ownership, these ideas are, these value systems are inculcated into the minds of the people. In a similar way, if it's a democracy, it's different. And even, sorry, I got mixed up actually. Capitalist country, socialist country, then democratic country, and communist country, and even capitalist, socialist, mixed economy. These are one set of, and these are one set of examples. So even what I'm trying to say is even economic situation also plays very very important role in developing the attitude in as a, it also acts as a determinants or determining factors of ethics in a society. Then philosophy, we had a Sufi philosophy. It's been accepted, and the saints, the medieval, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Basaveshwara, Jnaneshwara. These philosophies also, they have impacted the society, the social value system, and in turn they also become a determinants of ethics. And then constitution also, what kind of constitution you are into, whether you are empowering citizens or whether you're giving more power to state, that also matters a lot in determining ethics. And also law and its enforcement, and also follow upholding of law by the citizen and the law enforcement agency, these also matters a lot in determining ethics. So ultimately, if the question comes regarding regarding determinants of ethics, predominantly person, place, time, and then other factors, you are supposed to write these aspects also. Try to include examples as much as possible, right? So let's move to the next topic. There is one school of thought. There are three aspects in the school of thought, and all the three are contrasting in nature. So let's talk about this also. Actually, there are so many times indirectly this question has been asked in the examination. So you understand the basic concept and you can expand these things in examination according to your examples, according to your way of thinking. Now let me explain this contrasting school of thought. There are three schools of thoughts with respect to uh, these ethical standard moral values. The first is ethical universalism. Ethics and universe. What it means, ethical universalism means ethics are ethics, you know, that values morals. So certain values and morals are universal in nature. These values are accepted as ethical standards in every country, every geographical location, every time period. As an example, truth. See, truth is one. Whether now whether it is 500 years ago or after 500 years. There is only one truth, and truth is always accepted. Truth is always a value. Truth is always a standard ethical conduct. So this school of thought talks about there are certain values in the world where they are considered as universal value, no matter whatever time, whatever person. In the last section we talked about place, time, people. No, here ethical universalism talks about it does not matter whatever the person is. It is truth is not going to change from person to person. Truth is not going to change from time to time. Truth is not going to change from place to place. So truth is universal. Compassion is universal. Another example, compassion. This is another universal value. Empathy, extension of empathy is compassion. Altruism. These are some of the values. These are universal in nature. Whatever the time period, whatever the context, whatever the determining factors, these remain as universal truth, universal value. So this is one school of thought. As an example, you can give it as a universal declaration of human rights. All the countries accepted these as a standards for human rights. And there are certain behavior which are good no matter whatever the context is. There are certain behavior which are considered as bad or they are considered as wrong regardless of circumstances. Whatever the circumstances, these are wrong, it is wrong. You have to label it as a wrong attitude. So this is one thing, ethical universalism. It is also called moral objectivism. And the next school of thought, the second concept here is ethical relativism. As the name indicates, relativism, it means that different cultures and individuals have different standards of right and wrong. The same thing, abortion example, few countries they say yes, few countries they say no, and another few countries there are restrictions. The activity is similar, but if you look at the different perspectives, it looks good for certain set of people, and it looks bad for certain set of people, and it looks okay. They put restrictions on it. So there are people now. The thing is, same activity, group A it is seeing as a good, group B it is seeing as bad, group C it is seeing as okay, neither bad nor good, it is neutral. So different set of people opinion is different. So this is what ethical relativism is. That so this school of thought tells that in the world there are no universal value. It changes according to context to context. It changes according to the location. It changes according to the time. It changes according to the place. So this is what it is talking about. Moral standards change over time, even in same culture. The same example, even the sati also in India it was accepted. Right now it was not accepted. The same geographical location, the same religion, all these things, but still evolution is there. Before it was accepted, now it is not accepted. So moral standards change over the time. So this is ethical relativism. And moral relativist, ethical relativists, they argue that there is no known universal rule that defines right or wrong. There is no one single rule that is going to define this is right, this is wrong. No, this is not right. It is going to change according to the time, according to the place. So this is ethical relativism. And the third one, it is ethical nihilism. And what is this ethical nihilism? Ethical nihilism mentions that, say, there is a country, and country is prosperous, country is economically fine, country there is a social welfare, country is at peace. Now, whatever country is following, that is ethical. And there is taken example of another country where economic collapse is happening, there is no social welfare, and there is no peace and harmony in the society. Now whatever the ideas, philosophies they are following, it is considered as unethical. It is as simple as that. Here what exactly this school of thought it is trying to convey is that there is no rule, there is no moral values at all. If something, if a society is functioning well, then whatever society is following, it is considered ethical. If a society is not functioning well, then whatever the value system the particular countries or a particular society is following, that is considered unethical. So here a person's culture ethical rule are entirely artificial. There are no standard rules, there are no standard value system. So you create something, and whatever you created, those created philosophies, those created values, making or keeping the society safe, keeping the society secure, and running the country smoothly, then those philosophies, those ideas, those value systems are considered as ethical. This is also called amorality. It means that there is no morality. So there is no absolute basis for right and wrong. This is what this particular school of thought talks about. Ultimately, in a single line, if you have to make a distinction between these three school of thoughts, ethical universalism means there is one rule. Truth is truth, no matter what, for every context. Then there is ethical relativism. Here it changes according to the context. And finally, we have ethical nihilism. It talks about there is no rule. Whatever it works, you follow that. That is ethical. So this is contrasting three contrasting schools of thoughts with respect to the ethical philosophers, right? So this covers determinants of ethics. Now let's see the final topic of this video, that is consequences of ethics. Consequences, outcomes of ethics. See, if you follow these values, ethical standard, morals, then outcome will be, consequence will be positive. If you don't implement, if you don't involve in these values in your conduct, the outcome will be negative. So it is as simple as that. Positive, positive outcome, negative, negative consequences. But let's dissect the consequences in a different perspective, and let's see from a different level. So first, let's see the consequences of ethics from a political level. In general, politics, what do we expect from a politics? Usually politics, it means that there are two aspects. The first is trust and commitment. See, I am putting my vote to a person and I trust that person. My trust is that this person is going to take care of me, this person is going to take care of the welfare of the society, or development of my nation. So this is the trust I am putting on this candidate. But at the same time, the candidate, the representative, people representative, he should show that commitment to me. He should show that commitment to the society, that yes, you have given your vote, it is my commitment to work for your upliftment, it is my commitment to work for the development of the nation. So in a political system, if there is a value, then it has to uphold the trust, it has to uphold the commitment. If that happens, then I have complete support my representatives, and whatever policy he makes, I support those policies because I have a trust factor. And since he shows commitment factor, there is a smooth running of government. I'm not going to trouble the government, there is no strikes, nothing. I'm happy with government working, and government is also fulfilling its responsibility. So this is the consequence of ethics if you follow morals and ethics in political scenario. What happens if there is no moral values or ethical consideration in politics? The first and foremost thing is, all you want is power, and only thing you're looking, it's money. So politics, from welfare of the country, it becomes self-centered. You just want to enjoy the power and you just want to make the money. Now what happens? Corruption. Now, and also when there is a corruption, people are going to lose their trust, and there will not be mandate to a single party. Then it leads to a coalition party, it leads to a hung parliament, hung assemblies, and there will be defections. The MLAs and MPs moving from one political party to another political party, defections happen, criminalization of politics happens, and there might be social apathy towards politics. So this is what happens, the consequences. If there is a positive implementation of values, then trust and commitment. If there is no implementation of these values in politics or politic level, consequences will be negative. That criminalization of politics, corruption, all these things can be seen at the political level. Now let's see the at international level. We are seeing consequences of ethics in a broader perspectives here. International level, international level, again the same thing. If there is a value system, ethical consideration in international conduct, consequences will be positive. If there is no values, ethical consideration, then consequences will be negative. In general, what do we expect at international level? There should be a trust between two countries. And see, if I'm a country, I am a prime minister of a country. Now my country, if my country is following all ethical values and moral standards, then I make sure that I will develop. At the same time, I make sure that other country is also getting, it should also get benefits from my development. There should be a win-win position, win-win situation, from my development as well as the development of other country also. So there will be coordination, there will be mutual respect, there will be non-interference in the internal aspects of another country. And there will be ethical funding. All these things can be seen at the international level if we implement these values and morals. If there are no values and morals, if there are no ethical consideration, then it is going to create trust deficit. When there is a trust deficit at international level, then there will be groupings, different groupings. Right now we have there are groups backed by Russia, there are countries which are supporting USA, and there is a China supported groups. See, these kind of situation, it rises because there is a trust deficit, and border problems, the it may escalate, and the river water sharing, it may also escalate, and interfering in the internal affairs of another country, or creating trouble and funding the civil war, or you are funding another country, but there is a hidden agenda, it is not very genuine. See, these kind of things happens if there are no ethics, if there are no ethical considerations in the international conduct. So at the international level also, if you have all these ethical consideration, outcome is positive. If you don't have ethical consideration, outcome is negative, right? Let's see the consequences of ethics in a different perspective. At organization level, see, in an organization, I'm a head of the organization, and I'm the owner of this organization. So my organization, if there are ethics, if there are values and all these morals, then I make sure that, see, I'm a company, obviously I have to make profit, but at the same time, mine it's an organization. One thing, I am connected to the people. At the same time, I am responsible for my employees also. So here my motto is profit. I have to make profit, but at the same time, I have to take care of customers. My customers have to take care of my employees. See, if I have values, there will be positive outcome, there will be positive outcome, there will be positive outcome. If I don't have value, if the organization does not follow this value system, I will not care about my customers. My motto is only profit making, and it is going to impact my social responsibility. At the same time, I don't even care what my employees think about my. I'll There is a rule that you have to come at 10 o'clock, you have to go at 5 o'clock. There is no break or nothing. You have to give you 100%. Now, I am not empathetic towards the employee, their situation. All I want is they have to work. I'm paying the salary and they have to work. This is the attitude. When this happens, then eventually the social responsibility is going to die down, and also within the organization also, the aspects of corruption, it is going to increase. There will be nepotism, there will be favoritism, there will be lawlessness. All these things we can see as a consequences of no ethics. If there is ethics, everything is positive. There is no ethics, nepotism, lawlessness, extreme greediness, inequality, and even the stakeholders, employees, even the people, they are going to lose their trust in administration, also lose their trust in the management also. And eventually what happens, it will lead to the inefficiency, and once the inefficiency is affected, it is going to impact the profit. At the broader perspective, in public administration, it is going to impact the economy also, the effectiveness also. So eventually this is going to destruct the it is going to lead to the destruction of work culture. So at the organization level, again, if you have morals, outcome is positive. If you don't have morals, outcome is negative. Now the next is at social level. Let's see, if there are values at social level, again, outcome positive. If there are no values, ethical consideration, outcome is negative. See, at the social level, we need harmony, we need peace, we need equality, we need acceptance. These are the basic things we need in our society, because if the society is peaceful, if society is in harmony, if there is a tolerance and equality in society, eventually this will lead to the national development. And if there is a national development, it will lead to the global peace and global stability. So at very the base is the social level, social perspective. So if there is no ethical or moral consideration, then it will lead to the greed, and there will not be peace, there will not be any cooperation. It is going to impact the equality, and it will create injustice, and directly impact the sustainability factor. Ultimately, society should be progressive. If there are morals, it will lead to the progressive society. If there are no moral values, then society become regressive. So at the social level, loss of ethics lead to the loss of social consciousness. So even at the social level, the consequences, positive implementation of values, positive the consequences, negative. If there are no values, consequences are negative. And finally, let's see from an individual level, the micro level, individual level. See, if I have these morals, if I have these ethical values, then I am going to showcase these values in my social interaction. So if I talk to you, I don't have any hidden agendas. I am not going to manipulate you. I genuinely show all these values of honesty, truth, empathy, compassion, all these things. When I showcase these value system, my credibility in society is going to increase, so people are going to respect me. I also going to respect the social norms and social setup. When this happens, when I get the respect in the society, my confidence it is going to increase. And if the same thing is replicated at every individual level, we can have a very strong social capital in the society. So at micro level, individual level, I am happy, I am at peace, I am having that content in my life, and I can help in replicating the same thing at the social level also. So happiness, so inward, I am happy and I can express the same at the social level. And consequences again, if I have value system, consequences are positive. If I don't have these moral consideration, the consequences are negative. So these are the consequences of ethics. I think this video, this is enough. The three topics are covered: essence of ethics, determinants of ethics, and the consequences of ethics. And in the next video, we are going to take up the dimensions of ethics. And this would be sufficient for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video, in the third video, part 3. And thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.